Still as a breeze, a river flowing deep. Don't wanna leave the air you breathe.
To start off this makeup look, I'm going in with my Wet n Wild priming serum. This is very hydrating and I love it.
The world you see, and I will hold you down if love is still alive.
Now I'm using the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 primer and setting spray, and I don't know what the other thing does, but this just gives my skin some extra hydration, and then I like to dry it with my little mini fan. For foundation, I'm using the No. 7 Lift and Luminate foundation. I forgot how much I love this stuff. It is so good. And I'm using the shade Cool Vanilla, and I'm just blending that all over my skin with a damp Wet n Wild sponge. For concealer, I'm using the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. I obviously used way too much. A little bit goes a long way, but I get carried away with concealer. This is in the shade In Fair 2, and I love it. It's full coverage. It blends out easy. It doesn't really crease that much, except for on my eyelids, but this is definitely one of my favorites. And then I'm just blending this in first with a Morphe angled concealer brush, and then I'll go over everything with my damp sponge. To cream contour, I'm taking the Wet n Wild contour stick, and this is in the shade Oaks on You. To blend it out, I'm using this angled e.l.f. buffing brush, I think. There's no name on it, I just checked. But this is a really good brush for cream contour or cream bronzer. Now I'm just going over with my sponge just to further blend that in, because the brush blends it in good, but I needed it to be blended in a little bit more. Now I just switched to a smaller brush to blend out my nose contour and my lip contour. And then back over everything with the sponge. And then I always like to go back in with my concealer brush just on the sides of my nose. No additional product, but this just helps like kind of snatch my contour some more. Now moving on to brows, we are going to be going in with the ColourPop pomade in the shade Blonde.
Still as a breeze, a river flowing deep. Don't wanna leave the air you breathe. Living mirrors dreams when I think of you and me. Don't wanna leave the world you see, and I will hold you down if love is still alive. It's all forgiven to my eyes. The tide has turned around. Just listen to
For my brow tails, I'm taking this ColourPop eyebrow pencil. To set my brows, I'm using the Maybelline Brow Precise. This is the like volumizing fibers brow mascara. I really like it, and this is in the shade Blonde as well. To set my face, I'm using the Lancome Absolute powder, and this is in the shade Absolute Pearl. I've been calling this like Absolute powder, and I didn't realize there was no T. So it is the Absolute powder, but it's really nice. I mean, I don't know if I would repurchase it again, but it does the job. To set my under eyes, I'm using the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, and then first I'm going in with my concealer brush just to make sure there's no creases, and then I'll go in with the Real Techniques setting brush and apply the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. For bronzer, I'm using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. This is in the shade Light. I forgot how much I love this bronzer. I've been using it for like 2 weeks straight. It is so good. I need to get a darker shade for the summertime, but I love it. And now I'm just applying a little bit of that bronzer on my nose. For blush, I'm taking MAC Melba. And then for highlighter, I'm using Ofra Cosmetics Rodeo Drive. Now I'm taking the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm using this to clean up my bronzer and contour. Moving on to eyes, I'm taking the Lorac Pro 3 palette, and I'm going in with the shade called Blanc. And I'm just dusting that all over my lids. This is the first time I've used this palette, and I really like it. Now I'm going in with the shade called Canvas, and I'm using this shade as my transition shade. To deepen up my crease, I'm going in with a shade called Cool Taupe. This is a really pretty shade. It would be a really pretty like all over lid shade as well. To deepen up my crease, I'm taking the shade called Clay and Terracotta, mixing them together and placing them directly into my crease. Now I'm going in with the shade called Dark Brown, and I switched to a more precise blending brush, and I'm just applying this on the outer corners of my eyes and then blending in towards the center. For my lids, I'm taking the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Birthday Girl, and I'm going to be applying this with my finger. Applying the Super Shock shadows with the finger is the best way in my opinion. So I'm just keeping this on the inner corner and to the middle, but I'm not dragging it all the way across the lid. Just listen to the sound, two hearts beating time. Now I'm going in with the MAC pigment in the shade English Gilt, and I'm just applying this right on top of the Super Shock shadow because the Super Shock shadow is creamy and kind of like a wet base, so it's perfect for pigments. So that way I don't have to use any like glitter glue or anything like that, and it's beautiful. This was from a holiday set, so I'm not sure if you can still get it or not, but it's really pretty. Now I'm taking clay and terracotta, and I'm just putting that right above the pigment shade just to kind of like cut the crease a little bit. I just want a little bit more definition up there. Now I'm moving on to my lower lash line, and I'm just taking all of the shades that I applied on my lids and putting them on top of each other on my lower lash line. Still as a breeze, a river flowing deep, don't wanna leave the air. Now I'm using the shade called Light Gold, and I'm using this for my inner corner highlight and my brow highlight. When I think of you and me, don't wanna leave the world you see, and I will hold you down. Now I'm going to be applying some pretty vulgar gel eyeliner, and I'm not doing a wing or anything, and I'm stopping the liner where my lashes stop, so I'm not bringing it all the way over to the corner of my eyes. Just listen to the sound, two hearts beating time. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey. And now I'm just doing a little bit of tight lining. Now I'm applying some of that gel liner in my waterline and a little bit into my lashes. If I could go back, I wouldn't have applied any black liner on my lower lash line because I think it would have just made it more like, I don't know, I think I would have just liked this look better if I didn't have black liner on my lower lash line, but it is what it is. I still like how it turned out. Now I'm going in with the shade called Jet Black, and I'm going to be buffing that on top of the gel liner. Now I'm just applying some Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder underneath my lower lash line because I'm going to be applying some mascara and I don't want the mascara to transfer.
Say you'll be mine. The tide has turned around. Just listen to the sound. Two hearts beating time.
Now I'm just curling my lashes and then applying some mascara because I'm prepping my lashes for some falsies. For lips, I'm using LA Girl lip liner in the shade Cafe. And now I'm using the NYX Simply Nude Lip Cream. This is in the shade Sable, and I'm applying this all over my lips. This is a really pretty nude shade. Like, really pretty. Simple, but pretty. Now I'm going in with the Simply Nude Lip Cream in the shade Honey, and I'm just applying this on the center of my lips just to make them look a little bit more plump and bigger. For some gloss, I'm using MAC Myth. And then I decided that I was just going to apply a little bit of that MAC pigment on my lower lash line, and I'm so glad I did. To set my makeup, I'm just using the Morphe setting spray. Now I'm just applying some lashes, and I have no idea what these are called, I'm sorry, but once I use them, I put them in my lash book, and then I forget what they are. So I apologize. Now this look is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys later. Bye.